This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks took a loss to the Detroit Pistons tonight, 93-87. But I'm going to tell you what, these guys didn't stop playing. They didn't stop balling. They kept fighting through and through, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't matter what the score was. They played down to the very end. They battled. They fought. They got down by 20, but it was just a little bit too late when they really started to make that run in the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. But you got to give it to them. They showed the kind of fight, the style, and the grit of basketball that Tom Thibodeau wants to play, but you got to bring it throughout the entire game tonight. A lot of things didn't happen for the Knicks tonight. They didn't shoot the three well. They didn't rebound well. At least in the first half, they didn't. Travis Reed, I don't know what's up with that guy, but he didn't play well. He hasn't played well the entire summer league, to tell you the truth. I got my man Die Hard with me. I'm going to get him in a minute as soon as I get the sound right. But just talk about what the Knicks did, ladies and gentlemen. Obi Toppin, he had 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. I'm sorry, 9 rebounds, 0 assists. Emmanuel Quickly did not shoot well tonight. He had 15 points and 9 assists, 4 rebounds, but he only shot 22% from the field and 28.6% from the three-point line. But guess who did show up tonight? Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes showed up, ladies and gentlemen. He had 15 points and 7 rebounds. He also had 3 assists. He was 6 for 10 from the field. He was 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Die Hard. First of all, let's talk about the Knicks and what you've seen from the Knicks or didn't see from the Knicks. And then I want to go into Quentin Grimes, and then we'll go into Obi.
I got you, man.
Yeah, so just what did you or did you not see from the Knicks tonight?
Well, this is a weird game because we started off crazy. So, giving up that type of lead to any team, even if summer league, is not going to be good for us, So, right off the bat, I thought that just looking at the box score now, Quentin Grimes actually had a good scoring game. I was hoping to see that today, but it's funny that he had the good scoring game, but then everything else went to the crapper, man. Emmanuel Quickly shot bad, 4 for 18. He just reverted back to everything that everyone hates about him, as far as him actually being the lead point guard. Even though he had 9 assists, just a weird type of thing. McBride had a great game last game. This game, he finishes off with 2 of 14. So it was just odd. He only had, 4 points? So it was just an odd game to watch. So there was a couple highs, a couple lows. The biggest high, as you can see there, Obi Toppin with 31 points, 9 rebounds. I've been overly critical of him, just because, I just want to see him, just finish plays a little bit better, get to the spots more quicker. He did everything that I asked him, that I wanted him to do. Get into these spots, get into the holes, get into the basket much, much more cleaner, and just the way that he can do it, not the way somebody wants him to do it. So I just thought that he played a really good game. But, overall, it was just a typical, summer league game, man. You just know how it is. Yeah.
I think, I really did think that the Knicks, they started off bad. First of all, Detroit, they wanted and needed a win, right? They hadn't won a game yet. So they were a little bit desperate to get a win here in the summer league. And then, I'm not going to say that the Knicks were relaxed, but I think Detroit just came out with an energy that the Knicks weren't ready for. They were a little bit desperate. And you don't want to say that there's desperation in summer league, but for a team that's playing in a league, whether or not, there's some desperation. And there was some desperation on the behalf of Detroit. They wanted to get a win. And when you look down the stretch of that game, both teams played with energy that was regular season type energy that they played with coming down the stretch of that game, right? That was regular season type intensity that they played with coming down the stretch of the game. It wasn't, this laissez-faire type of summer league stuff that people think. These guys were playing, and they were playing good basketball too, especially the Knicks, down the stretch of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. They played a lot of their veterans too, though. Sadiq Bey was playing, Killian was playing, Cade. Yep. Cade is, he's not a veteran, but he's just like the super rookie. Garza is another super rookie. He should have went higher than he did. Pickett is a guy that has experience. Saban Lee is another guy that has experience. What's another guy? That's basically it. But those are the guys that played the bulk of the minutes, and they have experience and stuff. So their experience playing defense and just playing a little bit more stronger got them through the game, and just basically, that's how they were able to win, because that beginning of the game we just weren't able to get over the hump because we never got the lead. So that was just too hard of a task to get over.
Right. And when you look at their roster, the Detroit Pistons, I mean, Killian Hayes is going to be a starting guard. Cade Cunningham, he's definitely going to be a starter. Sadiq Bey, he's a starting forward. Luka Garza could be their starting center.
Yeah.
Right? And then and then you got Jeremiah Grant. Right? I mean, the Knicks the Knicks very well may have been playing the Detroit Pistons that they're going to see in the regular season.
Yeah, shout out to Garza, too. He had 5 blocks.
Yeah, he did. 10 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, 3 assists. It's a good ball player right there. Good ball player. Yeah. Eddie C, what's popping with you, man? You can't hit. Hold on. Let me get you unmuted. Got your mic muted.
There we go. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm chilling, man. How you feeling?
Hey, cool, man. First time meeting you, bro.
Yeah. First time in person, I guess.
So Eddie C, what you think about today's game, man, and what you seen from the Knicks?
The first thing that I saw was, like, we were going to miss Jericho Sims since I found that he wasn't going to play. Right there, I thought we were going to be behind the 8 ball because, he's the anchor of the defense. And his replacements, I'm sorry to say, man, but they're really, really bad. That Travis guy is really, really bad. We have Justin Patton, and he doesn't even play. Amir Sims, I think it's Amir Sims, who everybody was touting because we signed him in the second day of draft, right? Undrafted player. He was really bad. So I was like, wow, like we have nobody in the middle. Obi Toppin had to start playing some 5. And I thought that right there put us behind the 8 ball. We had no defensive presence in the first, I guess, 12 minutes, right? The first 10 minutes of the first quarter. And I think that was that's what actually, was the writing on the wall for us as in the whole, as the game, because we couldn't stop them. And then we had to just try to come back throughout the whole game. And that just took a lot out of us. But what I will say is, man, I'm getting really impressed with Obi. Today he showed me that mid-range jumper, something that I hadn't seen from him. And if he has that in his bag, with the defensive tenacity that he's playing with, he's gonna open a lot of eyes to those people that really think that he doesn't have an NBA skill or he's not NBA ready. Just to prove those doubters wrong.
Yeah, let me tell you, we talked about it before the game started. And as a matter of fact, Nate, big shout out to Nate the Great, is not here right now, but he brought it up in the last post-game show that he'd like to see Obi, pull up a jump shot, a little mid-range pull-up, and we've seen it today. And if he can do that consistently, a nice mid-range jump shot, man, that would mean so much to his game. You know what I mean? Does he have the ability, in my opinion, does he have the ability to, be in front of somebody, jab, step, boom, boom, and pull up? Not yet. But if he can really pull that ball up, he rises up so high, there's not a lot of defenders that's going to be able to rise with him. And he should be able to get some clean looks at the basket.
Even shooting the 3, pump faking to get a couple of dribbles in and shoot it from the mid-range will do wonders for him, because then they have to, they know they can shoot the three now. They're gonna have to come out and defend the three. So if he pump fakes, get an easier shot. He's gonna get buckets all day. Yeah, man, he's been consistent throughout the whole summer league. I don't think anybody can say that he hasn't been.
No, he's definitely been consistent, and he's been really consistent rebounding the basketball.
Right.
Rebounding the basketball, he's been really, really consistent. He had 9 rebounds today. That's right on his average of what he's been doing throughout the summer league. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that he's doing it, and he's been being aggressive going to the boards.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep seeing Sean Marion every time I see him. Everyone keeps talking about other players, but just him being able to get to the spot. I don't really like to see him dribble too much, but if he can make a clean decision, I've been saying it about Obi since he's been in the NBA, man. Just get to the spot and figure out, take a shot that you want to take, not a shot that the defense is giving you, or not the shot that somebody else is telling you to take. He's got to figure out what his shot is. Today looked fantastic. I was saying I did a halftime show today. So during the halftime show, as he was doing it, I was like, yo, man, this is what I've been begging him to do. Just, stay within yourself, figure out who you are, and just get to the spot before the next person is. Because these defenders, they're not NBA defenders. This is summer league. So it's a little different. But they couldn't find him. It's like he disappeared on them a lot of times, especially on these alley-oops and stuff. Next thing you know, the ball is up and Obi's in the air, and they're looking back at him like this, because they was like, oh, snap, he was standing right here, now he's not. So I think that's going to be like this the magician thing about him, the whole Matrix thing. I think that's definitely going to be his bread and butter, how he succeeds on the next level, especially early on in his career. Yeah,
definitely. The New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, they were out-rebounded tonight, 58-51. 20 assists for the Knicks, 21 assists for the Detroit Pistons. 11 steals for the Knicks. A lot of those steals came during the end of, the fourth quarter when they were putting that press on. I want to talk about that press a little bit after I go through these stats because, we've seen it in the regular season where the Knicks, had been able to put pressure on teams and, force them into turnovers and give themselves a chance. I mean, the Knicks went on like a 15-2 run within a minute and 30 seconds just by putting pressure on the Detroit Pistons. So we'll get back to talking about those steals. 6 blocks for the Knicks, only 10 blocks for the Pistons. Only 6 turnovers for the Knicks, 18 turnovers for the Pistons. Again, a lot of those turnovers came in the fourth quarter when the Knicks were putting the pressure on. All right? The Knicks only shot 36% from the field, 43% from the Pistons. The Knicks only shot 28% from the three-point line. And, of course, that's one of the things that really did kill the Knicks in this game. The Pistons shot 50% from the three-point line. We talked about it and looked at the statistics in the game preview. The Pistons came into this game shooting 28% from the three-point line. And, of course, against the Knicks and the style of defense that the Knicks play in trying to protect the paint, leaving that three-point line open, they shoot well against the Knicks. I want to talk about, too, later on in the show, is this something that we've got to really look at and try to fix going into the regular season, right? Because it's not the same NBA, the same old NBA. Teams shoot the three with regularity, and they shoot it well. All right, and we don't have these, these demanding centers that are going to pound the ball in the paint. So, you got to take care of the paint in that manner. I want to talk about that strategy going into the regular season. The Knicks shot 66.7% from the free throw line, 76.5% for the Detroit Pistons from the free throw line, and the Knicks 40 points in the paint. A lot of those points came from alley-oops to Obi Toppin, who had 31 points today. The Pistons had 24 points in the paint. 17 second chance points for the Knicks, 12 for the Pistons. Only 6 fast break points for the Knicks and 5 for the Detroit Pistons. Again, the Detroit Pistons were led by Cade Cunningham. He had 24 points on the night. Sadiq Bey had 13 rebounds for the Pistons. Killian Hayes had 6 assists. And Luka Garza had 5 blocks for the Pistons. For the Knicks, again, Obi Toppin, 31 points. Obi Toppin, 9 rebounds. Manuel Quickly, 9 assists. And Quentin Grimes had 2 blocks for the New York Knicks. All right. But let's talk about that pressure defense, right? Because you've seen the never give up attitude. You've seen the never give up attitude by the Knicks, right? Just never give up. And we're going to fight to the end. And they continued to fight. They battled. The pressure was tremendous that they put on. And the Pistons could not handle that kind of pressure. But I would like to see the Knicks do it more throughout the game, not just in the fourth quarter. Throw that pressure on maybe at the end of the half, the last 2 minutes of the half. If you can go on a 6-0, 7-0 run the last 2 minutes of the half because you're putting on that kind of pressure, that's going to benefit and help your team. Die Hard, that pressure. Talk to me what you see about it, man. Talk to me about it.
I think you want to talk about pressure because that's the first song off the Nas album. That's what I think.
There you go.
No, but you definitely got a point, man. I was kind of ranting when I was doing the halftime thing. I was kind of ranting. I almost missed it, so I had to turn my head. Somebody in the chat was like, "Yo, they're coming back." So I'm looking like, "Oh, snap!" So that pressure, the pressure defense thing is something I think that we can use because we're very guard heavy right now. We got Walker, we have Burks, we got Rose, we got Quickly out there. Shout out to Fournier, even RJ. Can get in on it. You can't really ask RJ to do it too much, maybe, but we have a lot of guys, and then we want to talk about McBride, and then add Grimes to that too. So if we really want to get crazy and really put pressure on teams, that's an asset that we have because we can spend a little bit of energy. Maybe put Grimes in there. Listen, this is what you guys do for these 2 minutes. I need you guys to do this. Mm-hmm. Take them out, and then to kind of do like hockey substitutions where we have like lines, like if you want to do that, because we definitely have the personnel to get it popping. I think not to really go off topic too much, but I think that's just like the X factor for the Knicks. We have the way that we start the game, then we have like our bench guys, and then we have like this option where we can throw extra people in there just to cause mayhem. So I think that's definitely going to be a plus for the Knicks, but it's up to Tom Thibodeau and whether or not he's going to do that, so right. It'll be interesting.
Right. I mean, because, good teams at the end of halves go on runs, 6-0 run, 7-0 run. You know what I mean? Good teams do that, and they have the ability to put that kind of pressure on. I think, like you said, this team does. When you add Quentin Grimes and you add Miles McBride, and Obi's been playing well. Obi played the passing lanes well today, and he did a good job understanding how to execute that pressure. When you got guys like that, I mean, you can cause a lot of trouble. You can cause a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? And then if you have finishers, that can put a team in a bind. Eddie, do you think the Knicks will start to implement more full court pressure, not just at the end of the game when they're trying to make a comeback out of desperation, but throughout the game?
Man, I don't think so. I don't think we have the personnel, especially now that we've gotten worse per se on defense, because the guys that we brought in are not defensive players per se. Kemba Walker, he's a smaller guard. I really have to check out Fournier. A person that I do like when he presses is Julius Randle. He looks like he can get into those passing lanes, and he likes that type of defense. I saw him do it a couple of times last year where we got a couple of steals. What I want to say is that, I always like the not giving up, because for some reason we don't give up even if it looks insurmountable. But we're always in there at the end of the games. And I was so peeved at Emmanuel Quickly tonight, because I think, to me, he gave up the game on that last pressure where he didn't cut off the baseline.
Off that side
and
line,
we saw that kid Lee just pass him by. He has to. I think he got, when you're playing ball and you're telling your teammates what they should do and you're not doing what you should do. Mm-hmm. He got caught doing that. Like, hey, yo, come here. And he forgot his man. And to me, that was like the end of the game, because he let that Saban Lee come. And then McBride's a rookie. So, there's things that he still needs to learn. And he comes in and he fouls. We had 5 minutes. If we would have played defense, we had 5 seconds left in the clock to tie the game. There was no need for a foul there. So to me, Quickly basically gave up the game by not defending his man, not doing what he was supposed to do. And if we have Emmanuel Quickly out there in these situations, I think he's going to get burned a lot. His defense, it hasn't been better. And I could see Tom Thibodeau this year, really barking at him, because we can see that Obi got better on defense. But has Emmanuel quickly gotten better on defense? I haven't seen it in the summer league. So he needs to get better on defense.
I will say this. Throughout that time span where they were pressuring up the Pistons, that he did help to create some of those bad passes by the Pistons just by being in the right spot. You know what I mean? When you go back to it time and time and time again, every once in a while something like that is going to happen, and he did. He should have. He could have cut off that sideline. That's a golden rule of trapping, right? Use the sideline as a defender. And he kind of, he went and he trapped, but he didn't fully go in and create the pressure needed. And he gave Saban Lee an outlet, to hit that sideline. And that sideline can be trouble if you let somebody hit the sideline, especially in the NBA when all the guards are quick. I don't know if they were to go to pressure at the end of the half. I don't even know if Quickly would be in the game if they're going pressure basketball at the end of the half. Right,
right, because those kids that we picked, in this year's draft, those kids can pressure up. Miles McBride, Quentin Grimes, Obi is one that can do that. I seen maybe an Alec Burks or RJ Barrett better in that position. RJ Barrett. So if you have a team like that, and any of the centers that we have on their team, be it Mitch or be it Jericho, not Jericho, Nerlens Noel, I think that's a good pressure lineup. But those are the young kids. How many minutes are they going to get? Unless it's like what Die Hard says, it's kind of like one of those hockey deals where you just put them in for that last minute. You know what I'm saying? To see what they could do and then just take them out. Grimes' brother's a hockey player, so he knows something about the
right.
the hockey lines.
I mean, I feel that this is where Tom Thibodeau, he has more options. He has more tools in the tool belt. And he's got to utilize that. And I don't expect it every game. It's not going to be every single game that, at the end of the half, I'm going to pressure up, But, some games, switch it up, pressure up a little bit, try to create some mayhem and create some havoc. You know what I mean? And make it tough for other teams. I think, I don't know. We will see if Tom Thibodeau utilizes all the tools that he has in his tool belt this year, especially on the offensive side. And one more
thing, Tim. How about doing a couple of zones, man? It looks like every time they play zone on us, we don't even know what to do. How about implementing some zone, not all the time either, just in spurts here and there, man, just to get these players off, or that amoeba defense that you talk about with Atlanta, where they're playing half zone, then half man, integrate all of that into the defense. We're not one to tell Tom Thibodeau how to play defense. That's his thing, right? But, in the NBA, you can be creative and you can try to do things to get the other team off balance, because it seems like everybody plays zone on us and we're still not able to break that. So I probably want to see some of that too.
Yeah. I'd like to see the Knicks play some zone defense. I really would. I don't think we're going to see it. I'm not going to lie. But
against a team like tonight, Detroit, man, they don't have no ball handlers. Killian Hayes and Kate Cunningham, they were able to do what they did, but if they put a little bit of pressure on them, then it would have kind of changed the game a little bit. They kind of was letting them do what they want to do, and that's not really gonna do it for us. Yeah. Not for nothing too. If you look at shot charts, most teams that we play that only shoot layups and 3-pointers, we always do well. We always do bad against them. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for teams like that, when you're talking about amoeba defense and zone and stuff like that, that should be right on the bulletin board, man. If teams that do that, they don't do nothing else but 3 and D, 3-pointers and dunks, that's all they do, then we need to have a game plan for that. And I feel like that'll be the next step for what Tom Thibodeau, because, he's been exposed every single time we played a team like that.
Yeah, I don't know if Tom Thibodeau is going to do much zone. He just seems to me like he's has an old school coaching mindset and believes I'm going to play man-to-man defense. I want my guys to play man-to-man defense, and I'm not worried too much about doing a zone. We'll see if he decides to switch it up a little bit.
I think that also help Obi Toppin get on the floor with Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? If you want to give some minutes with Randle and Obi,
Right.
You know, play a little zone with Obi and Randall on one side, Obi on one side with the center, and you could give him some minutes there at the 3.
Well, I tell you, I think what's going to allow Obi and Julius Randle to play together is Obi improving his defense, which he is improving. He is improving. You can see it in the summer league, improving his defense and improving his rebounding. If he can be competent at both of those things in the NBA, then you can see Julius Randle and Obi Toppin play together. Of course, he's got to hit the 3. I believe he can hit the 3. I'm not worried about that as much as maybe some people are. I think that he's going to be a competent 3-point shooter. But as long as he can defend and rebound, then you can see him and Julius Randle play together in a small lineup, and he'll be able to get some extra minutes that way as well. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to put some pressure on teams because now you got 2 guys, Julius Randle, who can play bully ball, and then Obi Toppin, who can go up top. You know what I'm saying? And really put pressure on the rim if they can do that. But as far as the zone, I don't know. I don't know about Tom Thibodeau doing that. And then defensively, Tom Thibodeau still likes to suck into the paint. And you're seeing it in summer league as well. This is what they do. It's hard to argue because their defense improved so much last year. So it is hard to argue. But we're not blind either. And we see that teams, if they get hot from the 3-point line, can light us up because we give up a lot of open threes. And it's still hard to argue because, like, we allowed the lowest percentage of, you know, from the 3-point line, we allowed the lowest percentage in the league last year. So it's hard to argue with the philosophy when you look at the numbers, when you see how the Knicks defense improved and the fact that teams, you know, they held teams to the lowest percentage of 3-point shooting in the league. How can you argue with it? But I'm not blind. And I do see that, you know, we give up a lot of open threes. And when teams get hot, like Detroit did tonight, 50% from the 3-point line, we lose.
I don't know, man. Those numbers always boggle my mind because when you talk about the numbers, we're like the best 3-point, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Every time I watch a Knicks game, we getting this splash in our face the whole game. Like, I don't understand whether I mean, I guess they go through cold spells where they can't hit them, but it's like every single game we get in the 3-point bucket right in our face all the time. So that's why sometimes, you know, when people come at me with these numbers, like, yo, but this guy shot 40%. Yeah, but, yo, he don't look like a shooter. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I can't go all about the numbers. And it's sometimes it's like what you see. Like, like you're saying, we're not blind. It's like every time you play, the opponent is just raining threes on us the whole game.
I mean, I think it has to do with us being fans, right? Because there are a lot of games where, seriously though, there's a lot of games where teams shoot 35, 33, 34, 35% from the 3-point line, you know. But as fans, you know, we see, you know, a team makes three three-pointers in a row, and we're like, oh my gosh, come on, we giving up all these 3-point buckets. And then we look at the end of the game like, they only shot 33%.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, how'd that happen? And then when there's a team that finally does really get hot and they, you know, shoot from 48% from the 3-point line, we're like, see, this is what we're talking about. But, you know, we forget about all the times we shut them down from the 3, and we remember the times where we got scorched. But still, I'm not blind, and I see that we give up a lot of open 3-point buckets, and we defend the paint. We'll see if the philosophy works next year. If it works again next season, I don't know if we can argue with it too much.
I don't think we can.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really argue with it if it works again.
We get better offensively too, so I'm hoping that the offense that we added to the team will help to like kill some of those runs. Because while they're hitting threes, we can also do it too on the other side, theoretically. Exactly. You know, so if we're able to do the team defense thing and still allow them to, at least run out on 3-point guys like we've been doing, do the same thing. Maybe, that work. And also we got Mitchell Robinson back too. He looks like Tree Rollins, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's finally like 270 now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he can start applying that body into the game and make something happen that way, man. So I mean, theoretically, if all things are the same, with the added players, hopefully that can make a better blend and we can get a better picture here.
Yeah, the New York Knicks gave up from the 3-point line last season 33.7%. That was number 1 in the NBA. The Utah Jazz were number 2 at 34.1%. Then the Hawks were number 3 at 34.9%. I guess it's hard to argue with the philosophy if it's working. We'll see if it continues to work next season. I don't know. Tom Thibodeau has a lot. Someone told me that I say I don't know a lot, and I know I do say I don't know a lot. I can't help it. It just happens.
I say you know what I'm saying a lot, so I don't give a damn. That's old age. I want to say, man. Right. Sometimes we forget vocabulary words. Sometimes like, what's that guy's name? What's that guy's name? That's just the way it is.
Right. And the New York Knicks last year gave up 43.8 points per game in the paint, and that was 4th in the league. Right, 4th, meaning 4th best as far as the least amount of points. The Miami Heat, they gave up 41.3. The Raptors gave up 42.9. The Bucks gave up 43.1. And the Knicks gave up 43.8. That's the philosophy. And it's working, so we can't argue too much, but we'll see if it continues to work next season. The Knicks,
I'm ready now. I'm ready to see it now, man.
Yeah, I know. Who do the Knicks play next? What's the Summer League schedule? Who do they play next?
Was that the last game of the Summer League? No, they play tomorrow, actually. No, that was today. What day is today?
Looks like they play tomorrow against Cleveland.
They play Cleveland tomorrow. That's right. And that's the last game. And then we move into the playoffs. So
are we in the playoffs or do we need to win, or what's the case there? Well, I have no idea.
I'm not sure. I'm going to look. I'm trying to look at the standings right now.
But that's our second loss, right? Am I correct?
That's our second loss.
We're 2-2.
Yep, we're 2-2 on the season.
But I've seen a lot of teams that are 500. It's like, I really haven't seen teams that go 3-0 or 4-0.
Right. So right now, the Celtics are 3-0. Timberwolves are 3-0. Pelicans are 3-0. Sacramento Kings are 3-0. Utah's 3-0. Philadelphia's 2-0. The Raptors are 2-1. Golden State's 2-1. Houston Rockets are 2-1. Miami Heat, they're 2-1. The Brooklyn Nets are 2-1. Portland is 2-1. The Knicks are 2-2. Then the Lakers are 1-1. And then you start to get to the teams who are below 500. Right, you got the Pacers are 1-2, the Suns are 1-2, the Spurs are 1-2, the Hawks are 1-2, the Cavaliers are 1-2, Memphis is 1-2, Detroit, they're now 1-2, Oklahoma City are 1-2, Milwaukee Bucks are 1-2, Chicago Bulls and the Magic are both 1-2, the Wizards, the Mavericks, the Clippers are all 0-2, and the Hornets and Denver Nuggets are 0-3.
That's a lot of teams playing, man. I wish I can go out there.
Yeah,
I think Gurmo's out there right now, right?
Gmo's out there. Next year, I'm trying to get the entire NBK crew to go out there, man. If we can go out there for a couple of days, that'd be dope. Set up and do some live podcasts from Vegas.
Yo, man.
That'd be dope.
So, I'm on vacation right now. I've been on for 3 weeks, and I don't know why I did not circle this on my calendar. I could have did the the Atlantic City thing. I could have did Atlantic City, and I could have did Vegas. I don't know what I was thinking.
Hey, it happens, bro. Next year, we're definitely going to be back in Atlantic City. June 23rd is the draft next year. We'll be back in Atlantic City. Then I'm going to try to head right from Atlantic City, go out to Vegas, and be ready for Summer League. That's my goal next year.
Be trading all them picks to get second-round picks. Next year we have only one pick, right? Is that our pick? That's it?
Next year we got one. No, we got 2 picks. We got 2 picks, depending on what happens with the Charlotte Hornets. If the Charlotte Hornets are decent enough, then we'll have the Hornets pick. So it's possible that we have 2 picks next year.
I was on another podcast, and they were like, "Why were we drafting for fit and not drafting for potential, this and that?" And I like to waver on the side of the way that we're drafting now, right? I have all the faith in how we drafting now. But what I did say was, I think coming next year, I think we're going to see the Knicks draft on potential a lot because, you know, these are kids then that you can draft for the future and have them in the G League or whatever you want. And you know, not because our team is basically set. We have so many players, you know what I'm saying? Like we've from Jared Harper, now we have Miles McBride. From Theo Pinson, now we have Quentin Grimes. You know, they're better players than what we had before. Right. So now if you draft another ready-made player, where are you going to play this guy? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're going to draft another 23-year-old guy that's going to be able to play now. Like, where's this guy going to play? Right. So it's, at that point, it's better if you draft a 20-year-old with the same culture, right? You know, a good kid, you know, because this is what we do, right? I think it's like 50-50. It's 50 on professionalism and 50 on talent. So we draft that type of player, 20-year-old player, you know, what San Antonio did this year at 12. Taking Josh Primo, who's a young kid, you know, and just groom him for like 3 years until he's ready to play.
Yeah. And listen, what the Knicks are developing right now, and if they're good next season, they'll have the luxury to do that. You know, they will have the luxury of drafting, you know, for potential and, you know, just letting that guy sit and chill for a couple of years and develop and grow for a couple of years. Now, of course, if somehow something comes along your way where you know, you're going to get a bona fide star, you probably got to go ahead and do it. Oh, right. Is that going to happen with the Knicks? Probably not. But, you know, if it does happen, then, you know, you got to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, we're on the 2-on-1 contracts too. There's a lot of guys with 2 years, with the last one not guaranteed. So we're basically on a 2-year window. So next year, I agree with that. We're gonna be drafted for potential because we can stand to wait another year. You know, because we'll have a lot of guys that are already ready to play. Then once we're ready to I guess reload or maybe advance some of these guys from being third string or maybe get them into the second string and start changing the roster. Those guys that we stash next year is going to be those guys that we bring in, you know, to start that whole ball rolling. Rokas is another one of those guys that we more likely going to stash. Yeah, we're probably going to stash him for a year. Vildoza too. He might actually still be around if we don't trade him or whatever. So that's something to think about 2 years from now. So the Knicks are putting on a clinic. You know, as soon as Leon Rose got here, along with Scott Perry, what Scott Perry was already doing, they're like putting on a clinic with how to build a roster and keep the machine going. You know, keep the manufacturing going. We got a team now that we can put out there just to be competitive, to show teams that we're trying to win. And then 2 years later, all of a sudden, oh snap! Look what we're doing. You know, it's that machine. That, you know, I'm so proud of Leon and just everything that we've been doing. And for fans that want to spend this time complaining, it's not really the right thing, man. Like, you got to stop and smell the roses and really see the big picture here. We really got like a nice machine processing here. You know, it's great, man.
No doubt. What do you guys think about Jokubaitis?
I like him, man. I like him. I like the way he takes the ball to the rim. I like that he's a 20-year-old kid who can score the ball. He's a lefty. You know, I can see that he's already crafty, already knows how to play. That first game, you know, there was some jitters there. Mm-hmm. He couldn't catch the ball. But after that game, you know, he just kept on shooting the ball well. His defense probably can use some help. But I think when the kid's 22, he's 20 right now, in a couple of years, this kid might be somebody that we can come off the bench with and be somebody productive who can score the ball, who's a 6'4" point guard. Kind of like in that Gordon Dragic role. I think that's a perfect comparison to him. I really like what he did these past 2 games, man.
Yeah, Jokubaitis tonight, he had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He shot 60% from the field. He shot 50% from the three-point line.
And the thing is that people say, oh, why don't we take one of these picks that we had and swing for the fences and then take a safe pick? And then, you know, I'm like, I go back to them and I'm like, yo, didn't we swing for the fences with Rokas? You know what I'm saying? Just because you never seen the guy play doesn't mean the guy isn't good. And that's what these are, us as Knicks fans. You know, sometimes we don't see these Euro players play, or sometimes it's somebody that we've never seen in the college ranks play. So all of a sudden we think they're trash. You know what I'm saying? These guys do their homework and they pick these players for a reason. He was picked before McBride. So they didn't even know if they didn't pick Jokic, the next team would have taken him. So they picked him before, I think a couple of spots before they did McBride. But they're talking about, oh, we should have swung for the fences. This is the kid that they swung for The only thing is that he's a stash type of player. They don't have to pay him this year. They can leave him over there for a year, so he's not under the books, gets another year of seasoning, and then he comes back a better player, and we're able to sign him. It's like, these guys know what they're doing, man. These guys are smart guys.
Yeah, he can speak English too, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, he speaks English very well. He was out there, like, you know, quickly he's out there trying to navigate the traffic, but he was doing the same thing. He was talking. You know, he didn't have to be reminded to talk, even though he has broken language. He still was able to out there and talk and whatever.
Yeah. So
like I said, we got to give credit to the Knicks staff. You know, they see stuff that we don't see. You know, we only see what we can see. You know, what everybody can see, but they can see the stuff that we can't. So we just gotta trust these guys, because the Knicks haven't done anything in this little pocket of time since Leon Rose's been here. They haven't done anything that says we can't trust them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we kind of should fall back a little bit.
Right. With Jokic, man, you know, when you look at the Kemba Walker and the Derrick Rose, you know, a couple of years, one or both of those guys will be gone in a couple of years, right? And you're going to need a young group of guards to rise up. Right now, you got Quickly. McBride definitely looks like he's going to be a keeper. And if Jokic can be another one of those guards that's rising up, now you got 3 guards. One of them is going to rise up to be your starter. And then you got, you know, 1 or 2 that's coming off the bench to be able to give you that strong backup point guard that you need. And, you know, when you look at the crop of guards that we have that can possibly run that position, the future looks bright for the Knicks, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You got 2 guys in Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose that can really mentor Quickly, McBride, and Jokic whenever he's able to fully come and play, which would probably be next season maybe. Two veteran guards, both have been all-stars. Derrick Rose deeper in the playoffs than Kemba Walker, but Kemba Walker has been deep in the playoffs. He was in the Eastern Conference Finals, not 2020, 2021, but 2019, 2020, right? They lost to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Kemba Walker was in the Eastern Conference Finals, so he's been deep in the playoffs. So you got some guys who can really mentor and tutor McBride, Quickly, and Jokic. Not sure so much about Luka Vildoza. And, you know, he's 26 years old anyway. You know, but these 3 guys are young. You know, so they might be a good trio of point guards that are growing up within Tom Thibodeau's system, and all of them, at least McBride and Jokic, already have that defensive tenacity that Tom Thibodeau was looking for and wants in his players. And hopefully Emmanuel Quickly is going to be able to pick up that defensive tenacity. And, you know, look, Quickly has a lot of character to him and a lot of personality to him. And I don't doubt at all that he's working and trying to get better on the defensive side. Obviously, on the offensive side, he's going to try to get better. You know, I have a lot of confidence in Emmanuel Quickly, and there's just something about his personality that tells me he tries to do whatever he can to get better. Just, you know, he just has this personality that can attract people, right? You know, a sparkling type of personality that can attract people. But just for me, and this is just me in my opinion and from my experiences, something that I see in him from kids that I've been around, because I've worked with a lot of kids from working in detention centers to working to coaching them in basketball, and you get to see, you know, the same personalities come past you, you know, year after year, and you get to recognize the traits of certain people because you've seen it before. And some of the things that I just see and quickly says to me, he's the kind of guy that is inquisitive and he wants to go find out everything. If he doesn't know something, he's going to go and come back with so much information on it. You're going to be like, God dang, what the heck did you do? Read the whole damn encyclopedia? I mean, I guess they don't read encyclopedias no more, but, you know, did you do all, you know, you know, they don't read encyclopedias no more, but, you know, did you spend 10 hours searching it on Google, whatever it was? He strikes me as that type of person. So I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to take whatever it is that Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff is telling him, we need you to work on this, that, and the third, he's going to go and do it. He's going to go overboard with it to try to get better in that area. You know, that's just what I see in him. You know,
yeah, man, I see it too. I see it when I used to work on, summer youth. Being a camp counselor and bad at kids, you're like, come on, man, sit down or this, whatever. But meanwhile, they're being bad in this and the other. But meanwhile, they're watching you, and before you know it, they're giving you the inside scoop, like what guys are doing or where guys are hanging out and stuff like that. So I think he's definitely gonna be one of those guys. He's a busybody, man. Just watching him go at Duarte the other day, even today, even though he was down a little bit, you could see. It's that energy, just like he's just ready to pop. As soon as something good happens on the court, there's something that galvanizes him. Yeah. So I totally get what you're saying about quickly.
Yeah. I see. I mean, you see the last game. He took someone to the basket and scored on him. He's got his hand down, saying you too small. You know what I mean? Quickly is 6'3", 165 pounds. I mean, for the NBA, that's small. For us, that's like, damn, he's tall. You know what I mean? But, for the NBA, that's small. You know what I mean? But that's quickly. You know what I mean? And that's the exact personality, man. Just speaking on that real quick before I even go on to anything else, just a quick story. And I want to shout out to anybody who came up in a program called Head Start, right? Or you have children or you're part of that program. Shout out to you, man, because it's a great program that works with children and families. But anyway, I was on a field trip one time with a bunch of kids at a Head Start program, and we took them to an airport, like a small local airport, and one of the kids jumped into the cockpit of the helicopter and turned on the damn key. First of all, why would the pilot leave the key knowing that these kids are coming to, check out the helicopter? Why would he leave the key in the ignition in the cockpit? This kid jumped in the seat and turned, the propeller started to move. It was crazy. But one of those kids that are just inquisitive and not afraid to take chances, and is going to be something special one day. You know what I mean?
That kid's probably a pilot right now.
Like, I'm gonna leave these keys in the helicopter. Don't nobody know how to fly a helicopter.
Right.
Yeah. One of these young kids come in here and turn it on. Did he get scared at least when he turned it on, or he was ready to pull off?
Man, he didn't even want to get out the seat.
No, man.
He wanted to get out the cockpit.
Yeah, he probably watched mad YouTube videos and said, man, I got this.
Hilarious, man. Hilarious stuff. But what you guys think about Cade Cunningham?
I don't think he's a point guard. That was like the big thing for him. He's going to be like the big. That's another thing too. He shrank a lot too, man. I remember he was 6'10" at one point. Then he became 6'8". Now he's 6'6". Before the season they're going to say he's 6'4" or something. But I don't really think he's like a point guard per se. He's a good player though. He's definitely going to have to play off the ball. Maybe him and Killian is probably going to be good because they could take turns facilitating offense and stuff like that. They'll be able to grow together. So I think he's decent, but he's not as good as it's been projected, because he's not even probably like the best style of play, like combo guard or whatever you want to see. He's not even the best one that we've seen in summer league so far. But no knock to him. He's going to be a good player, and he's probably in a nice spot over there because they got a lot of young guys that are going to grow together.
Yeah, they do have some young guys that are going to grow up together. I like what they're building in the backcourt, and he is going to have to learn how to handle NBA pressure. Right?
Yeah, he likes to leave the ball in front, man. He doesn't protect the ball enough to be a point guard.
Yeah, and smaller guards, like at least what we've seen today, is that smaller guards are able to get up underneath them and cause a little bit of trouble. McBride, right? Able to get up on, McBride is what, 6'1"? Cade is 6'6" or 6'7" or whatever he is, but McBride was able to get up underneath him. And as long as you can move your feet, because he's not a guy that plays with speed, right? He kind of plays at his own pace and decides what he's going to do. So smaller guards will be able to get up underneath him and maybe cause some havoc. I'll say this. I think he's going to be a good wing in the NBA. I think because he plays, people are going to call it slow, but because he plays at his own pace, I want to say that because I don't think he's just straight up slow. I think he can explode when he wants to explode. I think he has that ability to do so. Yeah, he's very cerebral, right? So I think he has that ability to explode if he feels like he needs to explode. He just plays at his own pace, but I think that's going to benefit him in the long run. You know what I mean? He's shown that he can hit the NBA three. He showed it tonight, at least, that he can hit the NBA three. He did it in crunch time when he needed to try to close the game. He hit a couple of big shots. I was impressed with him. I like guys that play their style and don't try to be, hey, if I don't jump high, I'm not going to try to, jump out the gym. If I'm not super fast, I'm not going to try to explode past everybody. I like people that play within what they do. You know what I mean? And then think the game. I think he's going to be, a couple of years, I think he's going to be really good in the NBA. Eddie, what do you think about him, man?
Well, I guess, I don't know if you noticed when you said him, I kind of like took a pause because when I really liked him coming out of the draft, right? I always thought he was the number one pick when everybody was touting Jalen Suggs or whoever, Evan Mobley or whoever. I always thought Cade Cunningham because he showed a lot of leadership skill when he was playing in Oklahoma State. And I think that's very important when you come into the NBA at such a young age. And he took over that program and he was the leader of that team. Things like that don't happen overnight. Like you're kind of like born with that stuff. But when you said wing, I was like, when I first saw him, I'm like, nah, he's a point guard. But now seeing him here, I'm kind of thinking he's more of like a 2-3, like a wing guy, because he has that Brandon Roy type feel to me. And if you're able to get him with another point guard, and they do have one, I guess, in Killian Hayes, who can break down the defense if he stays healthy, right? And he gets better, he gets quicker, he gets stronger. They probably do have the nice makings of a great backcourt. But right now, I guess I still got to see some more of Cade. Because he's leaving a lot of things to be desired. He doesn't have a real step back game to me, which he should already have in his bag. He's not really athletic like that. He's not Jalen Green. He's not Kuminga. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that gives me pause when you ask the question, what do you think about Cade? Because I expected, I guess, more from him. And obviously there's still a whole bunch of time, but I still need to see more of his game. And in the NBA, when he gets his bearings, how strong he think he can be against other players, if he can overpower players. I don't think he knows what he can do yet. So right now, he's not showing all his abilities, I guess.
Yeah, and part of it, I think, too, is you still got to get used to the speed of playing, even though you're in the summer league, of playing against a higher level of competition, because even in the summer league, you're playing with the best college players. You're playing against the best college players and some NBA players. So when you're playing at your school, the team you play against most of the time maybe has one guy that's going to go to the NBA, one or two guys maybe, or one or two guys that's going to get drafted. Maybe. You may play against schools that have nobody that's going to get drafted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And as you saw tonight against the Knicks, everybody that was guarding him is going to be on the roster. Quentin Grimes is going to be on the roster.
Exactly.
Miles McBride is going to be on the roster. Obi Toppin is going to be, quickly is going to be on the roster.
Exactly.
So they're all NBA players.
Right.
He wasn't guarded really by anybody unless Wayne Selden. And this Wayne Selden guy, I don't know, man. This guy, he really gets me upset, this guy, because, he looks like he can play. He does certain things, but I don't know. But, I'm going to just leave that at that. But, yeah, I really wish Kevin Knox would have probably been here. So he can show some of his three-point shooting ability, stretching the floor out for these guys, and see what else he's bringing to the table this year.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened with that either.
That would have been nice for him to be there and just,
it's been more than 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know if he's really, really sick or what the case is, but I really don't know what happened there.
I mean, I think they probably shut him down, right? They probably said, okay, he had it. He's got to go on the protocol. They probably shut him down because, listen, I had COVID, and some of those effects last for a while. If he had COVID, I don't know, but some of those things last for a while. You know what I mean?
It happened to what's his guy's name from Boston?
Tatum,
yeah. Happened to Tatum. He wasn't too hot after he got sick too.
Yeah. But with Cade, you're right. He was playing against NBA guys. You know what I mean? So he still has to get used to that speed because, like I said, in the summer league, you're bringing the best college players together in summer league, and then you got guys that either have been around the NBA, maybe like Wayne Selden. He's been in the league a couple of years. He's played. This guy got 27 starts in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got guys like Quickly and Obi Toppin that have been in the NBA. So you still do got to get used to the different level of speed because you're stepping up a level. And then from the summer league, you get to the NBA and it's a whole nother level. So he's got to get used to that, and we'll see how he adjusts. But I do think that they got a nice young backcourt there in Detroit with Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham. Like I said, we were
all guys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to repeat again. We lost this game 93-87, but we easily could have beat this team if we were knocking down the three. We shot 28.1% from the 3-point line, and this is a team, ladies and gentlemen, that for the most part, this is the Detroit Pistons starting group. Killian Hayes,
minus Isaiah Stewart, I guess.
Yeah, and right. So you see, Killian Hayes is probably going to be the starting point guard. Cade Cunningham, starting shooting guard. Sadiq Bey, going to be your starting three. And then you got Jeremiah Grant. And then you got Luka Garza, who is probably going to come off the bench. But Isaiah Stewart, who will be your starting center, most likely. Or maybe Luka Garza will be the starting center. Who knows? But you got at least 1, 2, 3 guys who's going to be in the starting lineup for the Detroit Pistons, and maybe 4 in Luka Garza. And the Knicks with Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin, and then, 2 of their draft picks had a chance to beat these guys tonight. That's good stuff right there. Had a chance to beat them, and if they would have been hitting the three, could have beat them.
Yeah.
Probably, or would have beat them. Nate, what's your take on tonight's game and anything else, man?
I'll be honest with you, Sam. I did not watch the game because I was watching my Lions play on preseason.
Oh, okay.
But I did kind of see some highlights. I saw Obi Toppin had a game, which doesn't surprise me. Obi Toppin's been playing really, really well. I don't know how did Deuce do. I'll try to look at the box.
He didn't play too well. He didn't play too well tonight. Defensively, he was.
Did he play good defensively?
He was what he is defensively, but offensively, he didn't score.
Hey, man.
He scored 4 points. He wasn't hitting shots, but it didn't affect it didn't affect the rest of his game. Besides, the coaches who say, "Hey, we got to sit you down because you're not playing well on the offensive side." But defensively, he was in the game. At the end of the game, the Knicks were trying to make a run, putting on pressure, and he was in the game helping to create and cause havoc.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what Deuce is going to be for us, like early on. There could be days where he's going to have, if he gets playing time, he can make some buckets for us. There's no doubt about that. But, he's going to be a dog on defense. And don't be surprised if, we're making a comeback in a game or, things are really tight. If Thibodeau might just throw him in there just for defensive purposes. We saw that with Frank sometimes. And Deuce has showed, at least right now, even though I think this guy's going to be a dog on defense no matter who he's up against, I think this guy just has really good defensive ability. But he very well could be in games if they need one of those kind of pesky defenders that is going to really, F stuff up, in the game. I think he could be an asset for sure, especially, if they need somebody to guard a certain player that has been cooking everybody else, I'm just saying, I think his defense will translate to the NBA.
Oh, that's without a doubt. Defense will always translate anywhere if you play defense.
Sure.
it's going to translate. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about it. So, you know, the Knicks they were down double digits most of the game, but in the end, they tried to make a run to get back into the game.
They made a little run.
Almost got themselves back in the game. You know, and, you know, had Detroit a little bit scared, but they weren't able to complete. They weren't able to complete it. You know.
Did Grimes shoot bad? I didn't see his stats.
No, Grimes
played well, man.
He played well. 15 points.
That's good.
50% from the field. 60% from the field. 50% from the 3-point line. You know, he
This was his best game, I think, in the whole summer league.
Yeah, his best scoring game.
Honestly, I really think that Bright is right now ahead of Grimes. And I think, honestly, if you look at the rotation, I mean, probably both are out of the rotation right now. But if I was to make a guess, McBride will probably crack the rotation probably before Grimes does. That's my prediction. I think because his defense is ahead of Grimes, and Tibbs really wants a guy who can guard the ball, and this guy can do it, you know. And then he's got ability to make shots too, you know. So I think he's going to be a very valuable person that Tibbs can throw in, like kind of like in baseball, you know, you throw in like a faster player to steal the base if you're in a tight game. I think McBride could be that type of dude that he might not be in full rotation minutes, but you're going to see him in games where they're going to either throw him out to the Wolves or he's gonna make some plays for sure.
I'm not so sure about that, Nate, because I mean Quentin Grimes is starting in front of him, and McBride.
We don't know that right now, bro.
No, he is.
We saw the game.
Quentin Grimes is starting in front of him. He's been starting in front of him.
But I mean, like, what if McBride comes out in training camp and just balls out over Grimes? So that could very well happen.
Yeah, that could very well happen. But right now, Quentin Grimes is starting, and you can easily put McBride in because you have Jokibitis, who can back up the point guard position, and he's not starting even though we still have Jokibitis there. You know, it's the same thing. It's just the same thing. You know, what people. You know, I'm gonna put it to you like this: we're not gonna see any McBride memes after today's game. You know. After the other day that he went 6 for 6 from the 3-point line and played great defense, there was a whole bunch of memes about McBride. And today, you know, he just came back down to earth. And Quentin Grimes had a better all-around game defensively. You know, he was guarding Cade Cunningham. And you know, I don't want to pick players that we drafted over each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like right now,
no, I get it, but it's competition, bro.
McBride is on the depth chart. He's probably fourth. He's inching his way to third. And Grimes is somebody that's probably just one injury away from getting meaningful minutes behind Alec Burks or even backing up RJ Barrett at the 3. So, you know.
Possibly. We don't know. My argument is just because he's starting in summer league don't mean nothing. Maybe they want to see more of him in the summer league, so they want that rather than what they know what they have in McBride. You know, that would be my argument.
Well, listen,
it's like preseason football.
I think it's all going to come down to what the Knicks need at that time. You know what I mean? If they come into the regular season and Alec Burks has a pulled groin or a strained hamstring, then you're going to see Quentin Grimes play. I think. You know, if Derrick Rose or Kemba Walker, is out for a little bit in the beginning of the season, then you'll probably see McBride play. So I think it's going to really come down to what's happening with the team.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think it's going to come down to that. Right now, in the summer league, Tyrese Maxey is actually the leading scorer in the summer league with 26, averaging 26 points per game. Trey Jones is averaging 24.3. Cam Thomas is averaging 24. Desmond Bane is averaging 24. Obi Toppin is averaging 23.5 on 47% shooting, and he's shooting 33% from the 3-point line. Emmanuel Quickley is averaging 21.8 points per game on 38% shooting from the field and 25% from the 3-point line. so far in the summer league. You know, he's averaging 17.8 shot attempts per game. Obi is averaging 19.5 shot attempts per game. Obi's also averaging 9.3 rebounds. So he's averaging 23 points and 9.3 rebounds per game in the summer league right now. You know, that's what Obi Toppin is doing. And you know who else is cooking in the summer league? Patrick Williams. You know that kid from Chicago, man.
That guy can play, bro.
Yeah, he's averaging.
Got his stats?
He's averaging 21 points a game, 9.7 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists. He's shooting.
He's killing it on the boards, man.
Yeah, he's shooting 37.9% from the field. It's not that great, but he's shooting 43.8% from the three-point line. That kid is going to be an all-star one day, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be their starting power forward.
Watch out for Chicago, bro. Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, and now, a guy that everybody blasted me because I liked him. Every time I did a stream, everybody was like, he's too little. He's too small. He's too this. He's too that. And like I said, this guy's passing ability is great. Everybody say he can't shoot. His shot, you know, he can't make shots. Sharif Cooper, he's averaging 17.7 points per game and 9 assists per game. He's shooting 38.5% from the three-point line. He's shooting 51.2% from the field. This kid can play basketball, man. And now the Atlanta Hawks now have they now have 2 guards. And we'll see what he can do in the NBA. He hasn't done anything in the NBA yet. But I think he's going to be good in the NBA too. And if he can do, he's not going to put up these numbers because you got Trae Young in front of him. But you're going to have Trae Young, and then if you can come off the bench with Sharif Cooper, who can come in, get off that screen and roll, and be effective and put pressure off the screen and roll. Now you got 2 guards that can put pressure on you coming off the screen and roll through the pass, the pull-up jump shot, or the floater. It's going to be tough. Sharif Cooper, man, and they got this kid in the freaking second round.
Yeah, that had to be something extracurricular. That I don't think that was basketball related. I think that was something else that was going on with this camp.
Dumb move by our regime.
Nah, man, you can't say that. You can't say that.
No, it was because this guy can play. He balled out in the SEC as a freshman. He was right there for the taking twice, and we missed on him. And we got a guy who, quite frankly, might not even ever come over when we could have got this dude.
It's like game 4 of the summer league.
Yeah, 28 teams missed on him.
This guy can ball out, dude.
28 teams missed him too. You can't put it all on the Knicks.
I'm talking about a team, but I'm talking about a team that needed a point guard, and we missed out on this dude. And it's gonna come back to bite us in the butt. Just you watch.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, right now he's playing well. He's playing very well in the summer league. We'll see if it comes back to bite us.
This guy can play, man.
Yeah, but is he going to play over McBride? Because you already got McBride like the third string point guard.
Right.
So if we got McBride already, would you have taken Sharif Cooper? Who's better?
Right.
Hell yeah, would have.
Nate, I'm not
at that 36 pick.
Hold up, Nate. Yeah. I'm not complaining about who the Knicks picked. What I was talking about is people were telling me that he's not going to be good, and he can't shoot, and he's too small. All I'm saying is the kid is balling out.
So Sid, let me ask you a question.
I'm not saying that we should have. I'm not mad about our picks.
So let me ask you a question. Would you have rather the Knicks take him over McBride?
No, I like McBride. I like the defensive toughness. I'm okay with that. Not a problem at all. I'm just saying.
You could have got McBride and we're talking the Jokic pick.
Would you have taken him? Okay, so even a better question. Would you have taken this kid Cooper over Jokic?
Yes.
Yes.
I would have. I would have taken him over Jokic. I would have.
I think everybody would because nobody knew who Jokic was.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like a trick.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the guy played well his freshman year. I mean, people have seen him play. You're right. We haven't seen Jokic play. Who knows? Jokic at 20 years old could be a good player too. But I mean, this team could have got this point guard at 36 and still got McBride.
I mean, but
that's just my argument.
But here's my thing. What I'm saying, I'm not complaining or mad at our draft picks. I'm not doing that at all. Just because I like the kid don't mean I'm mad at our draft picks. I'm happy with our draft picks. So I'm not gushing over somebody else's player saying I want him on this team. I'm happy with who we got. we got a squad that I'm ready to go into the league with and play ball. I'm just saying, I like Sharif Cooper. I thought he was going to be good in the NBA, and I think he's going to be good. And I see someone in someone in the chat say that, I think everybody's going to be good. I don't think everybody's going to be good. I don't think this dude Travis Reed is going to be good.
Oh,
whoever he is.
Reed Travis, right?
Travis Reed that played center for us today.
Yeah,
He's never going to see the league.
He didn't even come in shape. He looks like he's completely out of shape. Like, what is he doing with his life?
You guys talking about the center?
Yeah. He's never going to be
the
This guy, man. Yeah, that Travis guy.
Terrible.
Yeah, you want to talk about bumbling opportunity?
No, Jericho Sims didn't play today. That Travis Reed dude's terrible, man.
Oh, dang.
Terrible.
He should be ashamed of himself.
He kept on missing these easy layups.
That's why we lost, bro. Jericho wasn't playing.
Yeah,
if Jericho was playing this game, we win.
I said that from the get. I said when Jericho ain't there, the whole thing just went to shambles.
You need that size.
Yeah. He was looking like Jerome James out there. He was looking really bad.
He looked worse than Jerome James.
Yeah, man. It looked like he needed to take a asthma pump in between steps and shit, man. He was crazy.
Yeah. It's a shame, man. He was bad. He was bad.
Hey, Sim.
Yeah.
Hey, Sim, I got a question. Why? Okay. Give me your best reason why we did take Jokic, because here's my thing about Jokic. I personally don't know for sure, but Tibbs has never really had like a lot of foreign players on his rosters. So, why take a guy like Jokic when there's obviously some other better options there? What do you think their reasoning was behind it? Other than, okay, let's just see what this dude does in like 3 years and maybe bring him over.
I think one, his size at the position.
Right.
The defensive, he's a defensive guy. He can play some defense. When you watch him play, he plays with a lot of energy. Right? I mean, a lot of these guys from Lithuania play with energy. Right? So he's like a net, one of these guys that you want to be like, get away from me, get off of me. You know what I'm saying? He can knock down the three. He showed that today. And he showed, I think he showed that in the previous game as well. So his size, his ability to play defense, his energy on the floor, his activity on the floor, I think all of those things. And if you do bring him and sign him, he's going to be fairly cheap. Comes over next season, he's going to be cheap. So you're able to stash him away. You still get 3 draft picks in this draft. You're able to stash him away. And next year, if you do get 2 first-round draft picks, you still got a second-round draft pick. And if you bring him over, you still got another guy that's like bringing over another draft pick. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it was about.
Okay.
Where if you do have a Sharif Cooper, let's be honest, you have a Sharif Cooper, him and McBride are definitely going to put pressure on that point guard position any man you'll quickly. Right? Now you got a bunch of guys, which is good, but then you still got to figure out, okay, how do I get these guys to play?
And then also what happens when Sharif Cooper comes and he doesn't get any playing time, right? And he starts pouting because he doesn't get any playing time.
Yo, you want to
that
talk
can be said about any player. We don't know.
I mean, the thing.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think the New York Knicks draft the way they draft, because they don't want to have any headaches on their team.
Right.
They don't want somebody that's gonna break up the camaraderie of the team, because, like I've been saying before, us as Knicks fans, we watch the game and then we turn off the TV and that's it for us. But these guys invest millions of dollars in these players and they have to babysit them 24/7. And if one of these players doesn't pan out, that's a bad investment on your part. When the Cleveland Cavaliers picked Kevin Porter Jr. in the first round, at the end of the first round, they invested in that player. And he's playing great in Houston. Houston reaps the benefits of it, but Cleveland takes a step back because they had to give him away for nothing. They invested all this money in him, and now they have nothing to show for it. So that's the thing that you have to look at.
Too.
That's the things that some of these people have to look at when you're drafting a player. Like, again, I say, man, we watch the game, we turn off the TV, and then we go to bed. That's not the same for these organizations, man. You have to look at it like that. Oh, why we didn't pick a Josh Christopher, or why we didn't pick this? You never know. You never know what the personality is, and do you want to bring that personality into your family? Do you want to bring that personality into your organization? Who's gonna probably mess things up, mess the camaraderie? That's what you have to look for when you're talking about players and the investments that organizations make in these players.
And trust me, I understand all that. My thing is that in 2 years, we're still going to have the same debate on who's going to be our starting point guard. When you could have got a guy young that could have learned behind some of the best, just like McBride is.
But we did.
And maybe it could be McBride. I hope it is.
Yeah, it could be McBride.
I hope it is. But
the Knicks had that guy that they wanted.
I can see it right now. Sharif Cooper guarding Jokic, and Jokic just taking him to the rack like he's a little kid. I could see it already.
And pulling up over him like it ain't nothing either, too. I can see that also.
I can see it already. Like, he's not going to be able to handle a Jokic, and then and you're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? What are you going to say then? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I
don't think that's going to happen, bro.
I don't know. I think it's going
to be the other way around.
I think Sharif Cooper is going to have a future in this league, man. He's
Sharif
very
Cooper's going to ball on Jokic.
Yeah, he's. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Jokic is about, but I think Sharif Cooper is going to have. One day he might have a chance to be a starting point guard in this league. We'll see. I mean, just because of his passing ability. Caller, you live. What's popping, man?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? This is Floyd Jarvis. I'm a brother in the chat saying that Obi should play the 5. After the second quarter, Obi played the 5. Those 2 dunks and that finger roll he had was on Luka Garza from the top of the key at the 5. He still managed to have 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, which Mitch is giving you. Same thing Mitch is giving you. You're not losing anything. But you also have 3 steals disrupting the passing lanes. I know it's a long shot, but I think we should look into playing Obi at the 5 because he's a dynamic player. Automatically, he's a more athletic player on the court, and that's how you better utilize him. It's my birthday tomorrow. I turn 36. Peace and love.
Hey, I appreciate you, my brother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, my man. Let me ask you a question though. Are you saying play him full time at the 5 in the NBA?
All right. Here's what I'm saying. He has to be the first big off the bench, and usually our 5 get into foul trouble, whether it's Mitchell or Noel. You put him in there, and that is when you can start to experiment or see how good he's gonna look. I do think he's gonna look good because he's quicker than all these other bigs. What he gives up in girth, he manages with his wingspan and his jumping ability. So, and we see he's a better defender. He's disrupting passing lane. So that's how I think we should utilize playing him and Julius together. We thought he couldn't play the 5, but we just saw 3 quarters of it, and he was the best player on the court.
I mean, definitely, I think he, depending on who we're playing against, he can play some 5. And like we were saying, it's going to depend on him, his rebounding and his defense. As long as he can do that in the NBA, it's going to allow him and Julius Randle to play on the floor together at the 4 and 5 spots.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that's going to be the key. Last year, I don't think he could have did it last year. His defense wasn't. His defense wasn't.
He needed time to learn because what his skill set is on defense is Nerlens and Noel. They're about the same weight, and Nerlens has a 7'5" wingspan. Obi doesn't have that, but when he jumps up, it's damn near 7'5".
Right.
So that's how he got to protect the paint. But he could do stuff that Nerlens and Mitch can't do, which is his quick twitchiness gives them that length on the wing to make those steals and disrupt the passing. So that's going to be very important in this league.
Yeah, and he's a much better finisher. Obi is a really good finisher. That's why last year when he was struggling, one of the things that I wanted the team to just find a way to get Obi into the paint and tell him just jump, right? Because he can finish. You know what I mean? And if you get him in the paint, just say, hey, just get in the paint and jump. You know what I mean? And then you give yourself a chance to finish because you can jump over everybody. You know what I mean? But he's a really good finisher around the basket.
Yeah, and for a big, he has a soft touch.
Yes, he does. He has a really soft touch. Really soft touch for a big guy. We'll see if as long as he can continue to play defense the way he's been playing it so far in the summer league and grabbing rebounds, or at least, he may not grab 9 rebounds a game, but just be aggressive and going and getting those boards. If he can do that, then I think he's going to give himself a chance to be on the floor. He's going to give himself a chance to be on the floor with Julius Randle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And play more minutes, because that's a way, there's a lot of questions about his minutes on the floor. How's he going to find minutes behind Julius Randle? But if he can play some of that 5 spot, you answer the question right there. He can etch out another 10 minutes a game right there. Oh, now he's playing 20, 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the call.
You already.
No doubt. Peace. Now, one thing that he's definitely going to have to do, Obi's definitely going to have to, he's got to do some
Drink some nutriments.
I mean, he's got to do something to, get his lower body stronger, man. My man Greg Armstrong, super Knicks fan, super duper Knicks fan. You guys probably know who he is. Super duper Knicks fan. He's in Vegas, and he posted this picture right here because he met Obi, somewhere outside, and this is him and Obi.
You got chicken legs?
Take a look at Obi's legs, man.
That's like Dwight Howard,
like
Sim. Dwight Howard has a big old top and chicken legs on the bottom.
But Obi's
Some
legs are
barbecue sauce on
smaller,
them things, man.
way smaller than Dwight Howard's. Obi got some. I mean, that's worse than chicken legs, man.
But you know what, Sim? Like, I don't really play ball like that. But when I was a kid, I used to play ball with guys that were older than me, and there used to be a guy. His name was Ouija. He could jump out the gym, and he had the same type of legs.
I know.
And these guys,
most guys that could jump do that. Yeah.
spring, most guys that have spring has the same type of legs.
No, that's
that
true.
you see Obi Toppin has. Like,
That's
Yeah,
true.
basketball players skip leg day when they go work out.
No,
They don't work
that's
on legs.
true.
no,
That's
but the
very
guys that could jump, the guys that could really jump, like the only one that I've seen that has big legs that could jump is Zion Williamson.
true. Right.
But besides that, they really have skinny legs, and they have a lot of spring in their legs.
Right. No, it's very
They
true.
don't carry that much weight on their lower body.
Well, part of the reason is why is because that calf muscle is what, your calf muscle and your thighs, give you the ability to jump. But that calf muscle, when it's wide.
That was a bad angle. He's got some big old
Bad
shoes.
angle. Yeah, right.
He's got some big old shoes.
It
Right.
got filtered. It got filtered.
Right. But when that calf
everybody else
muscle
take
is
pictures.
long and skinny.
He really looks skinny, man. He looks real skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lighting was bad too. That was inside the casino. The lighting was real bad.
Right. When that calf muscle is long and skinny, it gives you more springs. When he's fat and wide.
But it's
then
the
that's,
hamstrings too. When the guys have really like tight hamstrings, because he kind of walks like a gorilla a little bit. Same thing with
Like SpongeBob.
with Zion. He kind of just walks like really like like little doofy. Whatever guys that usually walk like that are guys that are like you can see their feet walking past you when they're jumping in the air, man.
Yeah.
Those
And
guys-
You know who else is like that? Jalen Green. Jalen Green is really. If you think Obi Toppin is slim, look at Jalen Green, bro. Like he's really slim from the waist down. It's like 2 picks.
Yeah.
He looks like 2 picks.
I don't
And
know.
that guy could jump
Look at Zaire Williams, man, for the Memphis pick. I mean, that guy's a still.
Yeah.
Like, if you see how
I'm
big
talking
that
about-
guy
but
is,
but
Obi's, when I'm looking at this picture and like, he doesn't even have thick thighs. Like his thighs not even, you know what I'm saying?
he
Like,
skipped leg day, Sim. You know when he was working out, he skipped leg day.
Them shoes ain't helping him out.
the shoes
Them
not
slippers
helping
he got
him.
on
Yeah,
ain't
them
helping him out.
shoes or slippers, whatever they are, they're not helping him out at all. But it is what it is, man.
I tell you what, man. I don't care what Obi's legs look like. I think this guy's going to get some good minutes this year. I really think that this play in summer league, yes, it's against inferior competition for the most part. Obi's showing something. He's showing something that, hey, I'm going to play well this year. The game has slowed down for me, and I'm ready to help contribute to this team.
Yeah,
He has great conditioning, man. Like his
I think he-
conditioning is sky high because this guy flies the whole game. Like he's nonstop, just going up and down, offense, defense. Before it was probably just offense and defense. He was taking a step back, but Thibodeau got him on that defensive tip. So now he's like, yo, offense, defense, I'm going full tilt 100%. And he doesn't look like he gets tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just keeps on going and going.
You can't teach effort. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely got the effort thing. He's never, ever going to not
And
play
hard. And hard.
Yeah.
And
Listen, D Coolest 718 said Noel's legs are worse than Obi's. That's true. Noel
Oh
got
my
some
God,
twigs
Noel's
over there
sick,
too.
man.
He got some twigs too, man. Hey, it is what it
I
is.
feel like somebody dead legs him, he's gonna break his leg.
Yeah. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time, man. I will be back tomorrow. The Knicks play tomorrow night versus they play Cleveland at 8:00 tomorrow night,
Cavs.
right?
Evan Mobley, baby.
Yep, Evan Mobley. They're gonna see a big man. Hopefully,
Is Jericho? What's wrong with Jericho? Is he hurt?
I
or-
think they just sat him out. So hopefully Jericho
Okay.
Sims will play
Maybe you
tomorrow.
get to pay for against Evan Mobley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully he'll play tomorrow night. And
It's a back-to-back, too, so they probably just came a little
Yeah,
low.
yeah, it could be. So
Nice.
we'll see tomorrow night, 8:00. I'll be on tomorrow. It's either going to be around 3:30 or 7. It depends on how my schedule works out tomorrow. Doing a game preview to talk about the Knicks versus the Cavaliers. Then, of course, I'll be doing a post-game show to talk about what happened during the game, and then we'll start to look forward to the playoffs, right? Because the last set of games are Sunday, and then starts the playoffs. And I'm gonna
Are
go
they
out
gonna
on
do
a
a round
limb and
robin, or
say
are they just gonna?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the Knicks need to win this game if they're gonna be in the playoffs.
Probably.
How many teams are in the playoffs?
Probably out of it.
What'd you say,
I don't even
Diehard?
know.
How many teams are in the playoffs in the summer league?
Let me see.
Should be all of them, right?
No, so here's
Like,
the
didn't they do like a tournament last time?
well, here's the format summary. I'm about to read it. It says all 30 NBA teams will participate. Total of 75 games will be
There you
played.
go.
Each team will play a total of 5 games. Each team will play 4 games from August 8th through the 15th. The top 2 teams from their first 4 games will play in the championship game.
Yeah, we're out.
So I guess we're out then.
Yeah, we're. I thought that when we lost tonight, I was like, shoot, we're out of the playoffs, man.
Yeah,
We had to win tonight.
the top 2 teams from their first 4 games will play in the championship game. Seeding for the championship game will be determined by winning percentage with tiebreakers set forth below. The 28 teams not playing in the championship game will play a 5th game on either August 16th or August 17th. Consolation games will be determined by various factors, including team rivalries, broadcast interest, and other scheduling considerations. So, yeah, it looks like this is probably going to be the last game for the Knicks. Maybe they'll get another game, right? They might get another game, but they've already played their 5th game, I guess. When they played Indiana, when they got that game rescheduled or whatever happened, they picked up that Indiana game. That made their 5th game. So when the Knicks play Cleveland tomorrow, they'll have 5 games. They're 2-2 in their first 4 games. So that means that they are eliminated from that championship game. So it's not a tournament style. Yep, not a tournament style. So the Knicks will play their last game tomorrow. And then they'll head back to New York. And probably playing a bunch of, they'll probably have maybe a week to rest. And then they'll start to, get together at the Westchester training facility, and play some pickup basketball or whatever. And then training camp.
Black Ops is open, man. Lifetime Fitness.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then training camp begins August 28th, I believe it is.
Whew, it's gonna be some battles going there, man. I wish I was there watching.
I'm not August 28th. September 28th. I'm sorry about that. Training camp begins September the 28th. So the Knicks will have about a month. The rookies will have about a month to rest. Actually, I think they're only going to have about a week to rest. Guys usually start coming back about a month before training camp, to start, just getting themselves back together, get home, get all the things together and start getting in that mindset. Training camp begins September the 28th. And then the regular season begins October the 19th.
That's like right around the corner, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
hitting
Around the
pop,
corner,
pop,
baby.
pop, pop,
Just around
pop.
the corner.
There it is. So we get ready for it. We got a lot of content to talk about. As soon as we finish up with Summer League, man, we're going to get in and start talking about training camp battles and, some of those type of things.
The fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait, man. It's going to be exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty sure those, the season schedule will be coming out sometime within the next couple of weeks. That season schedule will come out, and at that time we'll start looking at, the possibility of going to, getting everybody together to go to a couple of games and stuff like that. Of course, everything's going to depend on what's going on with pandemic and all those type of things. See what's going on with
I
that.
hope they don't screw us over like they did the last schedule, where they just gave us a really, really hard schedule early on. But they probably will, because they hate the Knicks.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. Hey, they did it this year. They made it through this year. I'm expecting us to make it through next year. Shout out to Jay. Thank you for the super chat. He said, "Why is Josh Christopher so hyped around Knicks circles? He's shooting 33% and 11% from three. Dude can't shoot. All that athleticism means nothing." You know what? I don't know.
Well, it took him at 36.
I don't know. Anyway, big shout out to everybody that's out here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Die Hard, any last words before we get out of here?
Peace to the panel. Nice to meet you, Mr. Eddie C. Man, it's the first time I ever got to be on a panel with you, man. So everybody else too, man, just tune in for Dianetics podcast. First time I ever plugged it. I always forget to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got my own content going over there. Also during the season, I'll do a halftime to crunch time thing too. So you can enjoy that as well. Everybody's welcome to join in Eddie C if you want to, Mr. Nathan. So
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, man. I'd love to chop it up with you. Definitely.
Eddie, anything?
Yeah, just peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Chat was live today. With the great takes. I also have my own little show, Eddie C, the Basketball Zombie. So please go and subscribe, like, share, do everything. Check out some of my takes, what I'll be talking about over there. I also do, streaming. So you can come in and talk to me anytime you want. You can go back and forth with the takes here and there. But yeah, man, just, one last game. Hopefully everything goes well. Everybody stays healthy and just wait for the big game to start in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. And Die Hard and Eddie C, if you guys want to type something in the chat, right? If you type something in the chat, people should be able to then click on your name and it'll take them to your channel.
All righty, I'm gonna do that right now.
And Nate, some last words.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to these training camp battles, man. I mean, this is why, I tell people, people say, oh, well, why do you watch preseason, man? I love watching these battles, man. I love watching these players, get it all on the line just to make a spot. And that's just the way basketball is, same way. We know who's going to be in our roster, but all these other camp battles, it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm definitely looking forward to the content that you're going to be rolling out and the debates we're going to have.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. We're out of here. Peace. Catch me tomorrow.
BK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Nick.